everybody, welcome back. This video we're looking at the Wednesday NBA slate. We have a monster slate tonight, 11 games, one of the biggest slates we've had all season. So let's go ahead and break it down. It's going to be a long one. Hopefully this slate goes a lot better than yesterday's was where a lot of the games ended up getting blown out and just saw some low scores overall. So hopefully this one is better. Looking forward to it, so let's get started. As always, appreciate you guys to the like button. Subscribe if you have not already. If you want the updates, we'll probably get a lot of news on this slate. Check out Twitter, it's at the DFS process there, and let's get started. So, looking at the point guard options, you have James Harden at 10-9 against Utah. They're still going to be without Kyrie, without Kevin Durant, so you're going to see Harden play big minutes again, get a ton of usage. Had one of his worst shooting games last night, only shot 7 of 24. Still put up 63 DraftKings points with 17 assists, 7 rebounds. Was really good out there against Portland. It is a back-to-back against Utah, so there is some concern there, as the matchup is just a lot tougher. And it's Harden playing 40 minutes after dealing with a bit of a neck injury. We'll see if he's like a bit sore, still a little might not play 40 minutes tonight if they wanted to be a bit cautious with him. So there is some merit to fade him. There's 11 games on the slate, so there's a lot of other ways to go. So if you wanted to be different, then you can maybe make a case to fade Harden tonight. You can go up to Luka Doncic. He's $100 more. He's probably going to be a lot lower owned, as it's going to be tough to get both of them in there. And I think everybody's going to go to James Harden. Luka has a better matchup by 10 times against the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's a spot where they should put up a ton of points. Luka should play big minutes and probably flirt with a triple double, if not secure a triple double tonight. So if you are worried about James Harden, I think you can easily go up to like Luka and get a guy that's probably going to be lower owned with similar upside. Then De'Aaron Fox is the only other point guard that's above 9,000. 9K exactly against Atlanta. This game is going to be one of the higher scoring games on the slate. Atlanta's a tough team to target players from, but against, I like targeting players against them. Fox looks really good tonight. $9,000 at home. Should put up a boatload of points tonight. Then you have Donovan Mitchell. I'm not really looking at him. He's pretty expensive, $8,800. I think you can do a little bit better. He does give you upside in the 40s, 50s. Occasionally can hit like 60, but I just will look to some other options. I like Trae Young a little bit. He's 87. That's a nice price tag. He's been so tough to pick and target this season. It's because he's not been putting up, very rarely he's been putting up big scores this season, like getting 39, 45, 44, 26. Those scores are not what you want when you're paying almost 9,000, 10,000 for him. So, only good thing I can say is that his price has taken a big dip. It was 10-2 about a week ago. Now he's down to 87. The matchup is going to be a fast one against the Kings, so hopefully he gets some more possessions. Hopefully he takes more shots. And then I'm not really looking at Lowry, Van Fleet. Toronto's been kind of struggling. I think they could trade a couple, like maybe Lowry gets traded if he wants to. I mean, they just lost to they just got blown out by Houston, who had lost 20 games in a row prior to that, so they are kind of going in the wrong direction right now. Oladipo 7,700. That price tag is nice, but I probably look to John Wall better than I think more than him. Now that Oladipo's back and John Wall and Christian Wood, they haven't had those guys all healthy for a while, so we'll see how the production shakes out between the three of them. I think John Wall still gives you the most upside between him and Oladipo. And then you have Jamal Murray's been playing a little bit better. He's 7,300, but that price tag is not something I really want to get to on an 11-game slate. We have some cheaper plays here. Drew Holiday would be a core piece if Giannis gets ruled out. He's questionable right now. Brogdon is questionable, so that would make Karis LeVert look like a great play if Brogdon sits again. I do like Rozier. He's $7,100. He had a huge fourth quarter last game against the Spurs. He had scored 14 points in the fourth. Got a couple of clutch free throws to ice the game late, or to put them ahead by basket late. So gonna play big minutes for that team. He didn't even have a good game at all. Shooting 6 of 17, he still put up 44.5 or 44 and a quarter. Against Houston, we know how bad their matchup is for them, like how bad defensively they are. Expect Rozier to shoot a bunch of threes. They are the bottom third in defending threes. And he just gets a little bit of a usage bump without LaMelo like you would expect. So I'm expecting big things for Rozier. I like that $7,100 price tag. I would say he has probably a 50% chance at least to hit 40 plus and potentially get you more than that. Other guys at point guard besides Rozier at 7,000 or 7,100. We have Kemba 6,500. He's just not been a guy I've been getting to very often this season, especially with Smart, Brown, and Tatum. Just think I would like to go to some other pieces. I like Ricky Rubio a little bit. $6,400. He's finally starting to put up some bigger fantasy scores, mainly with the assists. I've been there. There's a chance Jordan McLaughlin is back tonight, but he's missed so much time that I don't expect him to play big minutes right out of the gate. So I still expect Ricky Rubio to be able to play 30 plus minutes and probably hit value still at a good price tag. I like Rubio more than Conley, a little bit more than Blonde Wright. Then in the 5K range, you have Marcus Smart at $5,900. Devontae Graham only took 6 shots. All of them were threes. He made half of them. Normally, if a guy like him makes half his threes, you'd be expecting a big score. But he didn't shoot that much, which was sad. And he only played 29 minutes, even though I was expecting at least like low to mid 30s in place of LaMelo. Wasn't the case. I could see him playing a bit more minutes tonight against the Rockets, who do play a bunch of guards like John Wall, Oladipo, and they'll probably play Sterling Brown a lot alongside those two. So Devontae Graham should be out there getting some minutes in those types of matchups. And I would expect him to shoot more than 6 times. Like, that is probably the low if you're going to get close to 30 minutes out of him. So I don't mind him at all at that price tag. I like Halliburton at 57. His minutes limit looks like it's over. He played 36 last game against Cleveland. Was really, really good out there, 37 and almost 38. Still at a really nice price tag. His price tag should increase, as his minutes kind of stabilize in the mid 30s. So matchup is great. Price tag is really nice on Halliburton. He looks to be one of my favorites in the 5K range. He looks a lot better than Kobe White, MCW, Jalen Noel. In the 4K range, nothing that I'm going crazy with. Don't have any interest right now in any of them except Patty Mills, just because there's not going to be Lonnie Walker tonight. And then in the 3K range, there's really nobody that I'm looking at with any sort of confidence unless we get some players out. So Rozier is the guy right now, $7,100. Shooting guard, you have Mitchell at 88. I like the price tag on Zach LaVine. He's only $8,500. Problem with Chicago is that they have so many players that can play, with them basically being all healthy now. So we know LaVine is going to be the guy that shoots the most on the team. Can put up a huge score. The price tag is nice. Price tag is one of the cheaper ones we've got out of LaVine, so I don't mind taking a shot with him. I might look to SGA over him at 83, just because I like the way SGA's looked, and the matchup is good against Memphis. It should be a bit faster paced. And then it's definitely Chris Middleton. If there is no Giannis tonight, he would be probably a priority. Don't mind getting to Oladipo, but I think I like LeVert at $6,600. If there is no Brogdon, he should get more usage, more ball handling responsibilities. Then Ross has missed a couple of games, so if he's out again, you can look to Fournier, who's 6,800. That price tag is pretty high on Fournier, but he's been making value. And then it's Halliburton at 5,700. It's Devontae Graham as a decent play at that price tag. And then in the 4K range, nothing that looks great except maybe Kevin Huerter, but basically kind of a hit or miss GPP play. He's nothing that you can feel confident with in cash. And then you have maybe Jeremy Lamb if they're missing Brogdon again. He played a big game off the bench last time out. And there's only a couple guys in the 3K range, like maybe Ellington if he starts, or maybe Svi, but those guys are players that if you play a bunch of teams, you should sprinkle in. Nothing that you will put in like a single lineup. So for me, I think I like LeVert. I think there's a decent chance Brogdon sits again. Brogdon, there's also reports he's on the trade block, so a bit more incentive for them to hold him out if he is dealing with any sort of injury, just so he doesn't, re-aggravate it. So I like LeVert at $6,600. Small forward at the top end, it's Kawhi, who's going up against his former team. Spurs, nice price tag, 9,000. He's been probably pretty disappointing for fantasy this season. He hasn't had very many monster games. He's had a 50 a few times. He's very rarely hit like 60, 65. It is a spot where you would expect him to maybe play with a little bit more aggression going up against San Antonio. I definitely don't mind playing him at $9,000. With him being the most expensive small forward, there's nobody else that looks like you would. Like, he probably has the highest raw points out of this position. I like him more than Tatum. I like him more than DeRozan at 84. For value, you have, or in 7K range at least, it's Gordon Hayward, 79. It's going to be him and Rozier taking a large chunk of the usage with LaMelo on the shelf. So he looks good, even though his price tag is almost 8,000. Then for 6K range, it's Buddy Hield, $6,600. He's been shooting really, really well recently. Gallo is questionable. If he's out, then that makes the Hawks look a little bit easier to target, like probably secure some more minutes for Collins, Capella in the front court. And then at 5K range, it's like Bridges, $5,400. Josh Jackson maybe at 5,400. And then the 4K range for some value pieces, you have Patrick Williams as a potential play. I like Jeff Green. He's only $4,400. He should get you at least mid 30s minutes tonight. Without all these guys, he's gonna shoot a little bit more, and he can hit value at this price tag. He's one of the pieces. He's one of the better price pieces on Brooklyn for value. So I like him at that price tag. Power forward options, it's Giannis is 10-8 if he plays. You definitely can play him. If not, maybe look to Sabonis if there's no Turner, or if Turner or Brogdon sit again tonight. Then it's Gordon Hayward at $7,900, who I am considering. Don't want to pay that much for PJ Washington. He's $7,300. Look in the value range. You have maybe Keldon Johnson, $5,900. They priced up Sadiq Bey, so I'm not looking at him. And then Portis is priced up as well, up to 53 if Giannis plays. He's definitely not a guy you want to play, even if Giannis is out. That price tag is getting up there now. You have Kyle Anderson, I don't mind, at $5,100. They're a tough team to target, but Anderson is one of those guys that if he has an outlier performance, just because he does get you rebounds and assists, he does fill up some of the other stats. He can have an outlier game more often than other guys that just score a lot. So $5,100, he looks better than Bogdanovich, looks better than Morris. Then value, it's like Crowder at $4,600. It's maybe looking at like Aminu, who had a monster game. Nobody would have expected Aminu to drop 45. If they're still missing Ross, if they're still missing maybe one of the other guys rests tonight, maybe Gordon rests on a back-to-back, he will look like a better play. Moving on to center, at the top end, it is Giannis Jokic. Jokic looks good at 10-7 against Toronto. I like Cat against Dallas at 10,000 exactly. I'm not really looking at Vooch. I like Sabonis at 94. Then Christian Wood is 81. Also looks like a nice option. So this position is absolutely loaded. You have Siakam at only 73. You have Clint Capella in one of the best matchups you could ask for, going up against Sacramento, a team that drives a lot. They give up a ton of points in the paint and should get you some block shot opportunities. Hopefully, and there's a chance if Gallo sits, then we'll get some extra minutes for Capella in the front court. Absolutely dominated against him earlier in just 26 and a half minutes. He put up 48, and that was even with him playing very limited minutes. So there's a chance even if he hopefully gets like into low 30s tonight, if Gallo sits, then he would look like a great option at this price tag. Then another center that looks pretty appealing for a value play, it's going to be DeAndre Ayton, who's only $5,800. He's finally starting to play a little bit better last couple games against Miami and against the Lakers. He's a guy that can get into foul trouble, as he showed against Karl Anthony Towns. Got into foul trouble in both of those meetings. Going up against Vooch, there's a chance he could get into foul trouble again, but also a chance that if he isn't in foul trouble, he's going to play a lot of minutes because they're going to need him out there against Vooch. Hopefully he stays out of foul trouble because this price tag is definitely one where I have a lot of interest in. And then the last piece I'll plug in is going to be Halliburton, who's only $5,700. I think he looks really, really good. Good chance to get 30 in this type of matchup, and he has the upside to get to 40s, 45 as well. So that's it. Looking a bit balanced tonight. I think that's mainly right now, just with the news. If we get some more news on this, like things could change. But definitely like the price tags on Halliburton. Ayton has value pieces. I like Jeff Green as a value piece. And then Rozier is a guy I want to pay up for a bit, and Capella. So that is it for DK. Let's go over to FanDuel. Monster slate on FanDuel. Looking at point guard options. Starts with Luka, who's 11,000. He's pretty expensive. He does look good though, but he was like 10-2, 10-3, which was looking a lot better. I like Fox a bit at 89. I like Trae Young at 87. They priced up Holiday, so hopefully Giannis plays so we don't have to deal with that at $8,300. Then in the value piece range, it's Chris Paul, John Morant, looking like good value pieces. I like Rozier still a bunch at 7,000 exactly. And then I like Rubio at 6,000. Derek White is pretty cheap. He's playing a little bit better recently, 5,200. McConnell, if there's no Brogdon, looks good at 5,000. And I would say that's mainly it. If you wanted to punt with a guy, then I'm not really seeing anybody right now. Maybe we'll get some more news on the slate. But I don't think I'll go any cheaper than $5,200 right now for Derek White. So the guy is going to be the same guy on the thumbnail. Terry Rozier, expecting a big game out of him again tonight against Houston. Shooting guard, it's James Harden, 11-3. So he's definitely looks a little bit better on DraftKings just because you get those double-double and those triple-double bonuses. You get those extra half points for 3 points made, and you don't lose a full point for turnovers. I think that he could have a lot of against Utah. So I think you could make a case to fade him on FanDuel if you wanted to. There's a ton of other guys you can play. You have Zach LaVine, who's only sitting at $8,000. That price tag is just really, really cheap on LaVine. Something we haven't got very often this season. So loved LaVine on FanDuel. I like Karis LeVert at $6,800. Then you have SGA sitting at just $7,000 against Memphis. Like, if you wanted to fade Harden on FanDuel, you definitely could. You have Halliburton at a nice price tag, 5,700. You have Smart at 5,000, Graham at 5,000. Position is pretty loaded here, so I think SGA looks really, really good. 7,000 is just too cheap for a guy with his sort of upside. Small forward, Kawhi looks good at 95. I probably look in the 7K range. I like Jaylen Brown. I like Gordon Hayward. 6K range, you have Evan Fournier, $6,600. 5K range, it's Bridges, it's Kyle Anderson, looking like decent options. I don't think I need to go to Harris, Dort, and those guys in the low 5K range, high 4K range. And then for value at this position, you have like Justin Holiday, depending on some injury news, Doug McDermott, 3,800, Malik Monk. Right now, the way that Jaylen Brown's been playing, I feel pretty good about putting him in. Should be the Bucks play fast, so it should be a fast-paced game for the Celtics. And Jaylen Brown's been really playing well recently. He's been playing the best out of anybody on the team. Power forward, I like Sabonis at only $8,800 against Detroit, especially if Turner sits again. You have Kristaps at a good price tag, 7,500. Aaron Gordon is nicely priced. PJ Washington, if there is no Cody Zeller, looks better. And then you have a nice tag on like Bridges Pokiveski at 4,800. Then you can punt with the Morris at $4,500. You can look to Patrick Williams, Jay Crowder, maybe Aminu. I'm going to go up to Sabonis because I like the price tag a lot at $8,800. And then last but not least, at center, a couple of pieces to pick from. I think you can look all the way up to Jokic or Towns. You have Christian Wood sitting at 8,100. But I like Capella a lot at 7,200. I like DeAndre Ayton at only 6,200 with his sort of upside. And then you can look to maybe Zubats at 5K exactly. Zubats on verge of having like a 45 point outing, and then he didn't play at all in the fourth. And he only got 24 minutes after he was playing like 34, 35 in the other two meetings. So there is some risk with his minutes, but I'll put him in right now at 5,000. We'll see where it ends up as the day goes on, but I do like him. Then you can look to Ayton if you wanted to at 6,200. And you also have Jared Allen at 67. Everybody goes off against Chicago, so he's got to be in the mix. So right now, I like these 5 on FanDuel. I'll see if things change. Might change. There's a lot of news on the slate that we're waiting. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck tonight, and see you all next time.